first time in this season, I don't have consideration to you, I only have questions. Every consideration could be ridiculous. How many persons do you think has been saved by your work?
We have given a shelter to over 150 girls that we live with them at the center. We send them to school every day. And then there is like a girls leadership academy, because my community, girls are told they cannot be leaders. Girls are told they can't go to school. Girls are told you are not smart, you cannot
be normal.
So what we are trying to do is to have a home of champions, whereby we are empowering these girls with leadership skills, so they know gender does not come when you really want to work on something. You're a great person, you're beautiful, you're bold, you're smart, and you can be anything you aspire to be.
Hi to all and welcome back to FUORI TEMA, the episodes by Exibart, the culture and art magazine that deal with culture. We always speak about philosophy, arts, cinema, literature, and today we have Nice Nailantei. Thank you for having been here.
Thanks.
We are really happy. And yours is an original episode because we will talk about life, about being alive in this world in a unique way. And we want to explore a world that is such far from us, but is also really heroic. It's legendary from some point of views. And about your story, that is incredible. You told me for the first time the story when we met for the second time in your life in Kenya, in your country. And I suddenly thought that it was a story that everyone should know. So how are you, first of all?
I'm good.
You're good?
All is well. The weather is really good this time. No winter, so I'm really happy with the hot weather.
Because the hot weather deal with the Italian way that comes from the food and go to the weather.
Yes.
And everything in the middle.
Everything in the middle. And you know, food, I love good food. And you know, this is the place to be when you want to have good food. So I'm really having a great week.
When did your story started?
My journey started at a very young age because I grew up in the southern part of Kenya, whereby more it's the Maasai community. Because in Kenya, you know, people talk about tribes. You know, you come from a certain tribe. So for me, I come from the Maasai community or the Maasai tribe. So that is where I grew up and I was raised. And, you know, kids in Africa, you know, when you're growing up, as a girl, there are duties that you're expected to do. Like you have to be trained from an early age, from the age of 7 or 8 years. That is when your parents, they have to start teaching you how to clean, how to cook, how to look after cattle, and also how to just do the small chores that girls are expected to do. Because there, it's not like here whereby probably there are no roles for men and women. But where I come from, there are roles for girls or women, and there are roles for men.
Yeah.
Like men, they don't go to kitchen, they don't cook, which is very different here with the European culture and all that. So
even in Italy sometimes.
Yeah. So I grew up with a community with a lot of culture because, you know, we are one of the tribes that is really known in many things. It's one of the communities that has a lot of love. There is a lot of generosity, and sharing is part of lifestyle there. You can't eat and your neighbor is sleeping hungry, or you can't have something and your neighbor does not have, because that is how we are raised. As a community, we look after one another.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be my brother or my sister or my father.
We are all brothers and sisters.
All brothers and sisters. And if you're a child, you're taken care of by the whole community. It's not only your parents who can punish you, but even your neighbor or anyone. That is how it is. But that said, it's also a community with beautiful culture, but at the same time, it also has difficult cultures and barriers that girls and women have to fight every day. And you know, for me, as I told you, when I was growing up, it was beautiful. But at the age of 8 years, after I lost my parents, because I lost them when I was 7. It was a span of 1 year. My father died first, and then my mother, and then I had to go and live with my grandfather. But now when I was 8 years old, it was time for me and my sister and my cousins to undergo what we call female genital mutilation, which is female genital cutting. Because in my community, for you to be considered a woman, you have to undergo the cut, which is a very harmful cultural practice. But at the same time, it takes the dreams of these girls away, because you're considered a woman after circumcision. Even if you're 8 years, you're 10 or 12, to them you're no longer a child.
Yeah.
And what it means, you're ready for marriage. And if you're supposed to undergo marriage at the age of 12 or 13, it means your dreams are taken away. You can't go back to school, because now you're becoming someone's wife. But it's not something I wanted, because growing up, I used to go and witness other girls when they're undergoing circumcision. And after seeing many of them who are my cousin, who are my friends, I saw girls dying because of circumcision. I saw girls becoming mothers while they're still children. I saw girls being married at an early age, which is not of their choice.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of pain, and it's not something I wanted. But now, every time when I try to convince my family, they say, we don't have to be a caste family. We don't want to be the first family to have a girl who have not undergone circumcision. So it was not easy to convince them, but I kept telling myself, this is something I want to change even when I grow up. I want to fight for my cousins. I want to fight for girls from my community. But every time when I talked about that, everyone thought, like, a young child, you're crazy, you can't change the culture.
You can't change the mankind of humans.
You can't. But that said, my time came together with my sister. We had to wake up very early in the morning, because you have to shower with cold water that is supposed to act as anesthesia. Remember, they are not giving you any injection. And when you're undergoing the cut or circumcision, there are things that you're not supposed to do, like crying, moving your body. That means there's no man from that community who is going to marry you, and you become like a curse. It's like a big embarrassment or shame to the family. So that's why your father will promise you a lot of gifts, because they want you to be strong. But these are girls who are 10 years. These are girls who are 13. So it's also really, it's not something easy, because they are using a knife, they are using a razor. So it's a
sort of crime.
Yeah, it is a crime. So we woke up in the morning, showered with the cold water, but I kept telling my sister, we need to run away for our rescue. And already, even my sister was in school, we had already planned on how we are going to escape. So we had to leave our uncle's place. We went outside his homestead. We climbed a tree. We stayed there when there was dark, because if we walked down or if we went through the roads, they will find us with cars and motorbikes. And then again, we come from places whereby we have wild animals. So, if there is also danger of meeting elephants, lions, or any other.
Everything.
Yeah. So we stayed there until there was light. We had to walk to our mother's sister's place for more than 15 kilometers, hiding, and, it took time, but finally we got there. But after a week, our uncles realized that we were there. So they came with a group of men. We were beaten, we were threatened. So we had to promise that next time we'll not run away, but we'll proceed with the cut.
Nevermore.
Yeah. So we went to school. Schools were closed. It was arranged for the second time. We came back. We planned again. We escaped. The third time, again, I remember telling my sister, we still need to run for our rescue, even if it's 1,000 times. My sister told me, Nice, the other time we were beaten and threatened. The other time, this and this was said in front of all the family. So they look at us in a different way. So I'm not going to run. I will remain. And maybe if I agree to undergo the cut, they will let you go back to school. So I went to the same tree, because my sister promised me she will not tell anyone. But I think when I was in that tree, it was very difficult for me. I was thinking about her. She's only 12 years. And I was like, after this, she will not be able to go back to school. She will become someone's wife. She will become someone's mother. And she's still a child. She wanted to be a teacher. She had dreams like any other girl. But I couldn't go back to save her because if I went, they will do it forcibly to me. So my sister was not lucky. She got circumcised, and she was not able to go back to school. So she got married at an early age of 13 years.
13.
Yeah, 13. And, it was difficult for me. And I was sad as a child growing up. Every time I was like, I wish I went back. But now, if I went back, probably the same would have happened to me. Yeah. And it was also difficult for me because I was thinking, what if she dies? And, being married at an early age at 13, that's just like death. Giving birth at an early age, that's like death. But I couldn't do anything because I was still a child. So it bothered me when I was growing up. And I remember I was seen as a bad example because I ran away again and again. And every time my family, I tried to play with other girls, with other kids, they would be like, no, you're ashamed of your family, be on your own. So I was also isolated as a young girl. So every time I thought about my sister, I felt sad. But I started asking myself, for how long are you going to be sad? For how long are you going to be crying? If you're really mad about it, if you're sick about it, then you have to wake up and do something.
And that's the point in which you started to care about humans' rights.
Yes. And that's now when I took it as a challenge and I said I couldn't do it for my sister. But every year, over 3 million girls in Africa still have to undergo the same. Another 200 million women globally have already experienced the cut. So it's not just a story of my sister, of my friends, the neighbors we lost, the cousins who died because of circumcision. It's more than that. There are many other girls like my sister Soila who have to undergo that every day. And that's why at an early age of 15, I decided to go to communities. I decided to go to even talk to men, which is not allowed in my community. Women are not allowed to address men or to go to meetings whereby it's men who are
in Maasai community is not allowed?
No.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Early those days it was not allowed. But now with the campaigns and advocacy we are doing, things are definitely changing.
It's changing?
Yeah, it's changing. We are not where we want to be, but at least there is improvement and there is progress. So that's how my journey started, and that's how I got involved more to the work that I do now every day, to go to communities and try and make sure also the rights of girls and women are respected, and they are not just seen as women, but as human beings, as equal people in the society.
It's the story of everyone.
Yeah.
I also remember that you had a great story with one of your teachers, maybe.
Yes.
Which is the story?
My teacher, as I told you, my sister wanted to be a teacher, but also
she covered maybe something about you or something you did with your sister.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit better this point?
So, in life we all have teachers, and teachers are amazing people. I like celebrating teachers because for me in my journey, they have been important people. And I remember in my journey when I was running away from my home because of circumcision, most of the time I was going to school, and my teacher would give me a safe space, will give me a safe shelter. She'd be like, nice.
For a long time?
I stayed there for years, for more than 5 years before I went to my home. And I remember every time I was with my teacher, I could ask her, this is what my family wants to do. What do you think? And she kept telling me, if you want to be a teacher like me, then you have to stay in school. So she's the role model I had, and I wanted to be like her. And I'm happy because she gave me a safe shelter, a place I could run to. I get education, I get shelter and all that. Though school was not my home, at some point I had to go back to my home.
Yeah.
I also had to go and negotiate with my grandfather at one point. Because changing culture is not easy. Because this is a practice that has been there for hundreds of years, for long.
And communication and compromise.
Yeah. So it's not something that you can use a day to change, because it's about changing mindset. It's about changing attitude and behavior. You have to have a lot of patience. You talk to people today, but you don't run away because they're saying no. You have to go back and talk to them again and again. And I remember the first time I went to my grandfather, he never understood what I was saying. I went the second time, the third time, until the fifth time I told him I will run away, become a street child, and never come back. And that's why, and he started listening to me. And the support of cultural leaders or elderly in my community is very important, because these are people who are respected. We take care of the elderly, but also they make decisions for the community. They're like a government or parliament. Or
How many of them are those?
Each community, it depends. There's no like really specific number. It depends on the elderly men who are in that community. Okay. Like now for my family, my grandfather is still alive. So he's the like most senior elder. He's now in his late 80s. Yes. But I think he did a lot for me, because at one point they called my family after I negotiated and said, give me more time, I'm still young. He allowed me to stay in school, and he called my family members and he told them, let us leave her. Whenever she's ready to undergo the cut, she will come and tell us. But it's something I knew I never wanted. So I've never gone back to say I want, but I'm happy because he has been part of my journey to talk to my family member. He supported me, and until now, he's one of my greatest friends. And he's also a champion. He goes to communities, he gives my story, he talk about FGM, he talk about child marriage. So he's also really, though now he's too old, but he did a lot. If it was not for him, I wouldn't be able to do it for the other girls in Kenya or all over Africa.
When did you found your first foundation?
Working on the movement against female genital mutilation and child marriage. I've done it now for over 12 years. But 4 years ago is when we started a home for these girls that we call a Nice Place Foundation. Because as I said, I could not have a place to take my friends when I was helping them to run away from the cat. I was not able to save my friends because I didn't have a home to take them. And that's why for me, all along I said, if there is one dream I want to work on, is to have a safe shelter where these girls can run away. So 4 years ago, though it was built, it took 2 years to build, but 4 years ago we started the operations. I said we want a home whereby girls who are exposed to different forms of gender-based violence, they can run to. Some of them, it can be female genital mutilation. Some of them are probably running from child marriage. Some of them, it's cases of rape, because also we are seeing young girls, young children being raped in the communities, which is also not something that we wanted to happen. So we rescue them, but we work together with the government and police, children's office, and law enforcers, because it's not just about bringing them there, but it's also justice for these girls. And that's why we are working with government. And when they come to the center, the first thing we do is we give them psychological support, because most of them are traumatized. They have undergone so much. These are 12-year, these are 10-year-old. A lot has already happened. So before you do anything else, you have to do a medical report first to understand what are the problems they have, give them psychological support. And then we start mentorship for them, and then we take them to school. And when we take them to school, we live with them. They go to school, then they come back to the center. And then we also started another program there that is like a girls' leadership academy. Because my community, girls are told they cannot be leaders. Girls are told they can't go to school. Girls are told you cannot be this, you're not smart, you cannot be
normal.
So what we are trying to do is to have a home of champions whereby we are empowering these girls with leadership skills so they know you don't have to look at yourself as a woman. Gender does not come when you really want to work on something. You're a great person, you're beautiful, you're bold, you're smart, and you can be anything you aspire to be. So we help them realize that they are leaders in different ways, and we start giving them trainings. We train them on advocacy so that they can go back to the community and become like grassroots champions. If there is a problem in your community, how do you start addressing it? I started in my own village, campaigns of FGM, child marriage, but maybe there's another problem. It can be drug abuse. It can be cases of rape. It can be girls are not going to school. How do you realize that problem in your community? And then you start making that change, but you work together with the community. We also have computer coding because we are from remote areas. These girls have never accessed computers. They don't know how to use them because we don't have in public schools. And we also know the role that technology is playing worldwide. I mean, it's everywhere. You go, you need to understand technology. You need to be well conversant with technology. So we ensure also they get digital skills and we help them. And the other one is also issues of personal development, where we train them on sexual, reproductive health and rights issues to understand their body, to understand their lives better and everything. So we ensure that we train them so that when they move there, they don't see themselves as less people, but they become champions. They go back to the community and start doing the work they want to do. Another one is on scholarship, whereby we have needy, vulnerable, but very bright girls and boys, whereby we support them with their education. So all these programs we have at the center, but we work in partnership with the community, because you can't end FGM and you're not working, or child marriage or any form of gender-based violence, and if you're not working with the community. So what we are simply trying to do is to make sure the community understands that we are not saying our culture is bad. There is a beautiful part of our culture that I said before. If you look at our necklaces, like the one I'm wearing now, and many others, this is a Masai shuka. You've been to Kenya, you've seen probably photos of Masai people.
Yeah,
you've seen
I also spent time with them.
You had spent time with them. So it's beautiful. Our culture, there's so much that is beautiful. So what we are trying to tell the community, how do we embrace what is good? How we live in loving each other in unity. We don't fight. We see in other countries whereby people are fighting over things, different things. But this is a community whereby we believe in dialogue, talking. Come, let's talk. If there is a problem, the whole community comes together and they talk. That's a culture that you can't find anywhere else, and people can learn that from the Maasai people. How do we keep that? But what is wrong? What is harmful? What is taking away the dreams of these girls? What is making them mothers while they're still children? Because it's not just a physical cut, it's a cut of human rights and their future.
Yeah.
So how do we replace that bad culture with a good culture that we have? So we are simply telling them, keep what is good, but what we are saying we stop is now the bad culture, and send our girls to school. So that's what we are simply trying to do.
How many persons do you think has been saved by your work?
For the 12 years I've worked with AMREF through the Alternative Rites of Passage, we've been able to save over 20,000 girls from the cut who are in school. But now with a Nice Place Foundation, where I work fully now, we have given a shelter to over 150 girls that we live with them at the center. We send them to school every day. But also we have been able to empower over 800 girls on leadership skills, because the leadership training takes 3 months. So we have to do like 3 cohorts in a year.
Okay.
So we have been able to reach over 800. And then in the scholarship, the one we support with education, we've been able to reach over 500 girls. So, yeah.
And every one of them, they sleep, eat, and live over there all day long?
Yeah, that's their home. Because we try and reconcile them back with their families, because every child, home is the best place where they can be raised. So as we rescue them, we live with them, we take them to school, we live with them every day. We also try and start talking to their families, because remember, they have sisters that we also want to save. We cannot bring every girl there. Our capacity is 200, so we can't go beyond that. So what we try to do is we talk to families slowly, with what we call dialogue. We explain to them the dangers of female genital mutilation, the dangers of child marriage. What does it mean to take these girls to school? What does it mean when we invest in education? So we make them part of our program. We make them part of our community, and we start talking to them. As I said before, changing culture does not take a day. or 2 days. It's not, like when there is an outbreak for malaria, we give mosquito nets, malaria tabs, and it's over. But culture, it's about patience.
How much, in your opinion, is going to change already? Which buffering do we have?
I can say in Kenya, a lot of progress has been made, because our time there was no law against female genital mutilation or child marriage. When we were children, it was normal for girls to be circumcised, and there is a big ceremony. Girls are being married, there is a big ceremony. There was no law that was protecting girls. But in 2011, we got the Prohibition Act against female genital mutilation in Kenya. And many African countries, they all have laws against female genital mutilation. But you see, it's a cultural issue that you need the law, of course, to protect human rights activists like us and the girls when they are running away, but also talking or raising awareness or having dialogue with the community is really important. They need to know, because men don't even know how circumcision happened. Sometimes we have to show them videos of how the cut is being practiced, because men are not allowed to be there, it's only women. And we show them, and that's when you see them seeing a lot of pain, being sad, and they are mad about it. And that's when you'll hear fathers saying, if I see anyone doing this to my daughter, I will kill him or her. So we have seen the power of just raising awareness and talking to them, because sometimes they don't know what happens. They don't even understand the damage that it brings to the life of that girl or the woman, because female genital mutilation has so many health consequences, not just the ones that we are talking now, but it means the health of that girl or that woman throughout. A lot of things are not going to go the right way because already of the damage that has happened. And once they get to understand the consequences, the effects, that is when they start changing. So a lot of progress we are not yet there in Kenya, but yes, probably by 40%, Kenya has already made a lot of improvement, and many other African countries. Yeah.
For the first time in this season, I don't have consideration to do. I only have questions, because I'd like to learn everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that every consideration could be ridiculous. So, because we are in front of an enormous team.
Yeah.
And maybe the opinion could be not enough, only question and answers.
Yeah.
So I ask you, which, in your opinion, should be the next steps for your foundation and for the country?
Of course, for the foundation, that is a Nice Place Foundation where I love working and being every day, because as I said, it's a home whereby, our slogan is dream, learn and lead. So we are with these girls, we are helping them to realize their dreams, we are helping them to learn, and we are helping them to realize they are leaders in future, and they can be anything they aspire to be. And as I said, the issues of female genital mutilation, there's still a long way to go. As I said, statistics every year shows that over 3 million girls every year have to undergo female genital mutilation. So there's a lot of progress made, but there's still a long way to go. Now there are many things that are coming up, emerging trends when it comes to female genital mutilation. Some of them are done by, it's done by health practitioners. There's medicalization of female genital mutilation. They feel it's safer when it's done in hospitals. Now we are seeing that they are not waiting for girls to be at the age of 8 or 10. They are doing it to under 5 years, so that they will never realize it has been done to them. So things are changing. Communities are also smart. When they know the law is strict, they find their own ways of doing it. So that means we are not where we want to be. So we have to ensure we are training more young girls as ambassadors of change, not just the few that I've spoken about, but we have to empower more girls so that they are able to go back to the community and they bring the change that we all want to see. The other thing is that investment in education is very important. We are not able to end any form of gender-based violence if you are not sending girls and boys to school. in school is where you get knowledge, you get to understand things, you get to look at things and view things differently. And that's why to us, school is important. If you are not sending them to school, then we are not helping them. So our plan is to, by 2030, to send over 20,000 girls back to school in East Africa. And that's what we want to work hard every day to make sure that by 2030, all of them are in school. And those will be ambassadors who will come and change, bring the change that we want to see. And also, we are trying to expand our projects to Tanzania first before we think of other countries, because we know it's not a Kenyan problem, issues of female genital mutilation.
General.
It's not an African problem. It's also even a problem even here in Europe. We have immigrants who are here. They have their countries of origin. They have a culture that they believe in. So if we also don't even raise awareness in countries like this one, the migrants will go back to their countries of origin. They will circumcise their daughters because that's the culture they know, and bring them back here. So it's a conversation that we have to start looking at, not just a Kenyan or Maasai conversation or African conversation, but a global conversation, because girls are dying because of circumcision. They are leaving school because of circumcision. They are being married when they are still children. They are becoming mothers when they are still children. And I think until we start having that conversation in platforms like this one, I'm here in Italy now speaking to you, and we need more of those platforms so that everyone understands that it's an issue that needs urgency, and it's an issue that all of us need to know that we have a responsibility to bring female genital mutilation to an end.
And I also like to remember that for all that kind of work you did in these years, you even had an enormous prize by the Time, the journal.
Yeah.
Can you explain us that?
3
years ago, maybe, or?
That was 2019 or 2018?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's like...
But you didn't know anything, and surprisingly...
No. Yeah, Time 100, that was big. That was like one of the I've received awards, but I think...
influencing
that was one of
world.
the most prestigious award, being named as Times 100 most influential people in the world. I didn't expect, I didn't know until I was just called from New York.
But do you remember what did you felt?
I felt good, because in the work that we do, sometimes you feel you're alone. It comes with a lot of challenges, because it's not an easy topic. It's not easy to think about all these girls wanting to end child marriage or female genital. It's a lot of work. Sometimes you rescue girls or you save girls, but it doesn't go the way you wanted. It goes the other way. It's not like all the stories we have are successful. They're not all successful. They're horrifying stories. They are sad stories. So, our energy is always like, like when you're moving around this city, people are walking fast. So our energy is all like that. So, yeah.
Going back in the time of your story.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Is there something that you think that should be different, or that should be written better, or not?
About my story?
Yeah.
Okay. So to finalize, the last one was on Times 100. I think it was important for me just to know I'm not alone in the fight. There are people who are out there who are seeing our work, who are also embracing what we do. And you see, that also gave me more energy, fueled me more to be able to even do more. Maybe I was just thinking of Kenya or my community, but I was able to expand my work to other regions, to other countries and all that. Yes. So, to the next question.
What should you change of your story?
I don't think there is anything. I would want to change a lot of things, but I don't think there's anything I would want to change in my story, because it's what made me who I am today. If I didn't have that journey, if I didn't have people sacrificing themselves to undergo female genital mutilation the way my sister did, maybe I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to go back to school. You know, a lot of things, as I spoke about my friends, happened. So I feel like that story is part of me, and it's what gives me energy every day to wake up. Because I know I am not just doing it for myself, I'm not doing it for my sister, but for hundreds of girls all over Kenya, all over the world. And I think that story is beautiful because I never forget where I come from. I never forget my journey, and I never forget where I want the girls or the women in these communities to be in the next many years. So the way it's written, it's beautiful. Because it's my journey, it's part of me. So it's just now to look at the future, to look forward and do more.
And I only want to add that this is a story about which to be very proud,
Yeah.
really proud.
Yeah.
Thank you for